Hello and welcome to this Active-HDL and ALINT-PRO tutorial. My name is Brandon, and today I'll be showing you how to utilize ALINT-PRO all within Active-HDL. Now, this is a really nice feature available in the 10.5 version or higher of Active-HDL, as once set up, it allows you to incorporate linting straight into your design process. Unit linting is the act of performing design rule checking on individual units or files, and can be ran in the early stages of writing your code or when applying some quick fixes. For a more comprehensive check, full linting must still be ran as it checks the full design hierarchy to catch more complicated violations, and you can learn more about that in one of my previous demonstrations. For now though, let's go ahead and get into the setup for unit linting. Within Active-HDL, we'll first have to tell the tool where our ALINT-PRO installation is located, and this will be defined in the program's preferences, available via Tools, Preferences. Just under linting, we can see a field for ALINT-PRO, and from here, we can specify the installation directory. As you can see, I've got my 2017.12 version of ALINT-PRO selected, which is the minimum version required for unit linting. And this is actually all that's required. We can now utilize unit linting from either the GUI or our design browser by right-clicking on the desired file or files. In either case, these options will perform linting on the relevant files and report those violations straight to our console here within Active-HDL. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this by launching the feature via this button here, which will go ahead and lint our currently selected file. It's worthy to note that the tool here is performing a sort of basic linting, as no hierarchy is being built by just looking at our single file. Instead, elaboration and synthesis phases are launched in a flat mode. However, we can still perform some advanced checks like those for optimal synthesis, state machines, and more. With our unit linting complete, we can now see all of our violations here, along with their descriptions. Of course, from the console, we can cross-probe to our HDL editor to see exactly where a violation occurs. And from this view, we are provided some additional notifications of design violations, which are characterized by these warning lines. Hovering over such a notification will show us the associated violations. Looking at these violations, you might want to edit your policy or perhaps add some waivers during a first run. Both of these modifications are available within the context menu of the design browser by right-clicking on our workspace here, and hovering over ALINT-PRO, we can see the options for viewing our policy as well as waivers view. We can also see an option here for cleaning the project, should you wish to remove the ALINT-PRO files that get associated when running linting. And of course, we're able to run our full linting, which was covered in another demonstration. Back to our policy though, selecting this option will launch ALINT-PRO with our Open Project Policy window. Similarly, had I selected the waivers option, the tool would have launched in our waivers view. So with ALINT-PRO open, from here we can see all the rules that the tool currently looks for. This current configuration has our basic and Stark rules activated at the moment, but let's just say I wanted to focus on clearing the violations related to Stark only. I can just modify the policy from here. Before I do this, however, I can go and back up this policy via the export tool here, which will take my current configuration and turn it into a script. That script can then be ran to quickly set up the policy later, which is especially useful for unit linting, as you'll most likely be focused on certain rules during these initial runs. This allows you to set up a policy for just unit linting, and then reuse it across projects. From there, a more advanced policy can be applied when you move on to full linting. For now though, I'll just go ahead and make my simple changes, save, and then go back to Active-HDL to run unit linting once again. My violations this time will now reflect the new policy, as we're no longer checking against that basic rule set. And we can see the results of that here. This time, there's a lot less violations, and I can focus on those violations relating to Stark only. Now, when initiating unit linting, the feature works by calling certain commands in the background, and we can modify these commands somewhat by providing additional arguments. This option is accessed within the design settings, which we can open by right-clicking on the design and selecting settings. Under linting, we can access the settings for unit linting, and from here we can modify the feature's behavior. First up is some limiters on the maximum number of messages, as well as maximum messages per rule, just to keep violations from going out of control. Under these options is where we can provide additional arguments to our compiler commands. When linting VHDL files, the acom command is used, And when linting Verilog, the alog command is called. Within these boxes, we can provide additional switches to change the behavior of either command. For more information on these commands and those available arguments, you can find their descriptions within Active-HDL's product help menu. For now though, we'll just go ahead and keep the default settings. One thing I do want to change here, however, is this verbose option. By selecting this, we can configure the console output to print the status of the linting flow as it is happening. I'll show this by enabling the option and rerunning our unit linting once again. In the console view this time, we can see some additional messages from the tool, as well as a description of our console violation report, along with our violations, of course. And that'll be it on this demonstration for unit linting within Active-HDL. Be sure to check it out if you're looking to seamlessly integrate some design rule checking into your design. And of course, thanks for watching.